Microphone. Helps to have a microphone. Okay. That shoulder loose. Here. What are we? Wrong window. What's going on here? Okay. That was weird, friends. I don't know what was going on there. Showing some old screen. But hey, we're good. We're good now. Okay. So today, if you were with me last night, you remember we spent about an hour and 40. Oh, unstable on Google. Ooh. We got to adjust our bit rate. See if we can adjust our bit rate live. What do you think? All right, well, we just changed our settings there. Does it? Will it adjust? Or do we need to stop and start over? What do you think, friends? Should be dropping. Yeah. Okay. We're okay. Bit rate drop down. All right, we're good. We're good. We're good. All right, we solved that problem. Let me refresh this page. That should help us out there. Okay. So, if you were with us yesterday, I put myself in an unfortunate position of letting a feature get out of control. And I kept trying to gold plate it and gold plate it and gold plate it. And eventually I had to pull the plug and undo everything and start over, basically going step by step at a time. So spent some time this afternoon reworking my approach, updated our Claude.md file, did a few more things, changed how I'm working through the prompting. I've also invested more in the work items or the issue in GitHub, and I'm using that as the reference. So my new workflow is once I get the story ready and I have Claude Code off and running, making all of the changes, I then go and expand the context around the GitHub issue of the next thing that we want to work on. So that next thing is, let me find it here, is we are going to be adding a capability for finding the nearest exit whenever you create a location. So the way we're built, in theory, we'll see how users end up using the product, but in theory, the way or the reason why this product became an idea is we were traveling down the highway 70 plus miles an hour. I've got a kid in the third row in the minivan back there saying, "Hey, I'm hungry. I got to go to the bathroom," whatever it is. And we needed to stop. So I wanted to be able to, based on the route that we were on, find a location that checked off some boxes. One, it met the food requirements, wasn't that far off from the exit, was clean. If it had a playground or something where the kids could get out and run around, fantastic. If there was no way to make that happen. So that's what this is all about. Right now, whenever we create a location, we just create a location. We drop a pin on a map, away you go, and there it is. Doesn't help us out a whole lot. So what I want to start calculating and capturing is when we create a location, let's find the nearest exit and the nearest highway, or the highway that we're on plus the nearest exit, how far it is from that exit, and let's calculate that out. That makes a ton of sense whenever you're mapping locations based on a highway, but not all the time are our users going to be on a highway. They might be traveling down some state route or something. You know, the number of times going from Ohio to Myrtle Beach when I was growing up, we got off on Route 9 in South Carolina and spent about 100 miles on Route 9 going through towns and various things like that. So there's no nearest exit. There's no highway there. So I've got this lined up. Hey, we need to figure this out. I don't know what the right answer is. So we're going to ask Claude Code to go figure that out and come back with a plan for how we can manage both of these cases and understand that. So the goal is that we can one-shot this feature. And by one-shot, not meaning that we write the prompt once and it's off, but that we do some refinement, which is really the way it works when you're working with your team. Just like with your team, when you're going to work on some new story or work item, whatever you call it, you likely refine that work. You likely talk about it and drill in and figure out what it means, what it doesn't mean, what it should be, what it shouldn't be. Does it need to do that? Oh, we can save that for later. You have to do the same thing with Claude Code. So that's what we're going to do here. We're going to start working through that refinement process and get to a point where we do let it go. And then at that point, as it's running, doing its thing, we'll pre-refine the next story that we're going to work on. Okay, so we are working on issue number 9, which is helpful for us to reference. Okay. Make sure we're on the right branch and all that jazz. Back on me. Okay. We are ready to work on the next feature, which is issue number 9 in GitHub. Read through that to gain context of what we are trying to accomplish. Keyword here, ultra think. Use ultra think whenever you can. Ultra think on this, and be sure to reference our Claude.md file and context 7 for any documentation you may need to build the plan. Okay, tab to get the plan mode. We'll let it go. Let's see what it comes back with. Let me see if I can find some sort of reference. Claude Code Ultra. There you go. So there's various words that you can use to trigger Claude. You have a think hard, think harder, and ultra think. Well, think hard, think harder, ultra think. So I've been pretty consistent with think hard and think harder. I've used ultra think a couple times. I can't say that I've noticed the difference between the levels. I definitely have noticed a difference when I tell it to think hard or think harder. Ultra think I've used a couple times, and it seems like it just like takes another pass at it. So I'm sure somebody out there knows all of the reasons and what that actually does. So let me know in the comments. We'd love to know. All right, let's see how it's going. Not sure why we're looking at the seed data, but okay. All right, let's see what it's got here. How are we? Oh, I'm not happy with this. We got to understand here. No, Claude. We need to understand way more here. How are we getting highway exit data, and how are we going to calculate routes to figure out the distance between a location, a highway, and the exit? Ultra think on this. Ultra. See, I'm not. Ultra think. Or it might be fluff. Ultra think on this and build a plan that aligns with our law.md file. Be sure to use context 7 to get help with our tooling. Yeah, that was a weak plan, Claude. You're better than that. You have been better than that. All right, we're going to let it do its thing. Again, we are based on a location that a user creates in our app. We need to find the nearest highway and the nearest exit to that location. Right now, we're just creating a location, and now we're asking it to figure out what's the best way for us to go figure that out and then store that. We have the storage all set and ready to go. We're just not doing the calculation. So that's the problem that we've asked Claude to go figure out. We'll see how it's doing. Also, the one MCP server that I am using that I believe in so far is Context 7. Context 7 gives you effectively LLM level access to documentation for, I think, I'm going to guess wrong, 7,000 tools. Maybe it's 2,700. 2,700 or 7. There's a 7 in there. Context 7. What's the number? Oh, 24,000. I was really wrong. So yeah, I found good things with this. I've been happy with it. It does a good job. I'm very happy to be able to tell Claude, hey, go read the docs, and have it be in a native language where it can handle that. All right, it's still contemplating. Yeah, what are we are using wait, that's not nama. I can't say that. I'm not even gonna try and say that. Nominate him. Open source geocoding with street map data. Yep. Web addresses, Available. Always up to date. Okay, so that's that. We use OpenStreetMap. Do all that calculation for us. We're using Leaflet for the map. So if we go and we look at our app here, we go home. We look at the map view. We are using Leaflet, React Leaflet tools to allow us to manage all of this. But what we need is we need some sort of routing solution. It is thinking hard. Do your thing, buddy. Free routing APIs. Okay, so there's free routing APIs. There's free routing APIs. Open route service. Interesting. See what wonderful Reddit has to say. Route Planner API, pricing. $10,000 credits per day. What's a credit? That's one of those tricky things, right? You end up with these tools and it's unclear. You don't really know what a credit is. Let's find out. So it's got a, it makes it look like you can click on that and find out more, but you can't. What is one credit? In general, one API request costs 1 credit for simple requests like geocoding places. Then why don't we just call it the one? Yeah, the obvious answer is Google. Cost. You still going back there? Oh, well, you normally notify me when you get done. Okay, here we go. Do have a highway exits table. Okay, OpenStreetMap. I don't know that I want to bulk import. Oh wait, so we're gonna host. The plan is to host our own routing. Interesting. PG routing. Our previous plan for the highway exits table was very similar. I gotta sneeze. Bless me. Let's see. Our previous plan for the highway exits table is very similar to our locations table in that we only stored exits that we actually had associated data, aka locations for. This way we are only searching on exits with data and locations we can actually serve to our our users. All right, so there's that. So we don't want to load it up. I would prefer not to host our own routing service in Docker. I mean, we can. Relatively simple. Maybe that is the answer. We can if we must. Can you do more research on routing? PG routing? PG routing to determine if we can continue to leverage our DB. Think harder and use context 7 to help. Whoops. To help with the research and make sure your plan aligns with our patterns and practices in Claude.m. Okay, so we're going to go back to context 7. We're going to go PG. Maybe not. Let's just look up PG routing. Let's see what it is. PG routing. Driving distance. How-tos. It doesn't seem good. Doesn't seem good when you land on a potential solution and that solutions page on the how-to page says many of them probably won't work. So how out of development is this? Let's go to GitHub and see. PG routing last. Oh, okay. April 30th. 3 branches. There is a develop branch. Last updated 3 days ago. Okay. Okay. So this isn't that. Not that bad. I feel okay. There's active development going on. We're good. Driving direction. Driving distance. Calculates nodes are within a distance. I don't know, my friends. I don't feel good about this so far. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. I think it might. The question really is, gosh, free routing API. I mean, I'm asking for something that's complex and I want it to be free, which is unrealistic. So I've got to accept that. Paying $60 a month. I mean, in theory, this is all reasonable stuff, reasonable pricing. What is that versus how much is Google's? Okay, so there's node Google Maps routing. Pricing? Okay. So it shows you how to enable billing. We're going to show you how to enable billing. We're going to bill you. We'll tell you how much it costs. Let's see. Google Maps routing. Maps routing costs. Because if I can use Google, that, I mean, we're all pretty sure that's going to be the right one. Calculate your cost. Okay, here we go. Maps. $10,000 what? 100,000 map tiles. Woo! 100,000 requests. Okay, so for 100,000 requests, it's free. I get to 1,000,000 requests, $500. Static maps. I don't want static. All right, so let's look at routes. Calculate travel times, distances from multiple origins, destinations. Directions. Okay, we don't need real time. Roads, nearest road. Okay, so we would let's see what we got. Recommendation: don't use PG routing for your use case. So it can calculate the actual driving distances, can handle nearest highway exit, well, with proper data, OpenStreetMaps data. Holy guacamole, 7x memory multiplier. Okay. And your current post-JS. For multiply. I don't even know what that means. Okay. The fact that it came back and Claude said, this gives you 90% of the benefit with 10% of the complexity. Now we're cooking. That's what I like to hear. What I don't understand is, so I would like you to please expand on the recommended approach. I don't fully understand the details of how we get the nearest highway and exit, and how we deal with locations that aren't near a highway or exit. Think harder on this and consult context 7 for more details and documentation. Be sure to align with our patterns and practices in Claude.md. Yeah, so the next question for me is, do I just bite the bullet and say, like, okay, let's do Google. Let's just do Google, and this pricing, 5,000. So we start at 5,000 things whenever we're using routes. So I'm not trying to calculate routes. All I need is I just need to find points and things that matter. So I need to find the nearest exit, which has a location on it, and the distance from that. So I need to find, there's probably two calls for each location that's added. So if we had 1,000 locations a month, number one, I'm super happy. That's exciting. That means we're off and running. 10,000 here with their compute route matrix essentials. Do I need routes or? So let's go back to this. If I use routes and 10,000, it's not, I think the right answer might be just use Google. Highway exits table. Yeah, okay. I'm well aware of what our data schema says. Okay. Yeah, right, exactly. So, okay. No. I want to evaluate using Google Maps APIs to handle all of this for us. Do research using context 7 and the internet to build a plan for how this could work and look up the pricing data to determine what our monthly costs could be. I think we only need this for looking up the data when creating a location. We are not trying or planning to replace whatever mapping routing solution they are already using. We don't want, that is a whole separate business. We want to stay focused on providing parents with useful location data when they need it. Ultra think on this and make sure your plans align with Claude. Yeah, so let's say it's 5,000. Say it's 5,000. So 2 calls, fingers crossed, for every location that we create per month. That is per month. Let me check. Let me check that. Yeah. So if we're adding 2,000 locations a month, fantastic. Like that's freaking amazing. Um, if we get to 55,000, so that's 2,700. It cost me $500, assuming this road's nearest road um, works. Then that's what I should be doing. Essentials. Let's see. Google Maps, given a location, can it find the nearest highway and exit on that highway? Google Maps API. Let's refine that. All right, you're still doing your thing. The roads nearest road service. Nearest roads. Snapped points. Location, place ID, original index. But then once it gives me a place ID, do I then have to hit the places? I'm assuming I do. I bet I do. Okay. We're saying responses. So it just gives us locations, or sorry, a place. And we then have to look up that place ID, I'm assuming. So we got to double dip. The road segment. Together. I don't want to snap a map. Hmm. What do you got for me? Okay, here we go. Google Maps APIs don't solve our core problem. Ooh, it's a well-documented limitation. How about that? Never would have guessed that. So here's the question. Do I even need this? That might be the answer. If I just store the location, and again, if we go with the assumption, and maybe we just keep it simple. We go with the assumption of, okay, I know where I'm going. I see it on my navigation in my car or in my phone. So now I open Road Trip Ninja, I open the map, I get to where I am, I draw a line of this is my route and say, I'm going here. Find me, and then give me a corridor off of that is, 2 miles wide on each side, or I don't ever want to go a mile off of my path, then I just need points. I don't need this information. Okay, so I think the answer is going to be that we don't. I think we don't need this. Yeah. We're going to keep it simple. We're not going to try and get all of this data that really doesn't matter. Hmm. Way exit data. Hmm. Yeah, I think we're gonna. There's more important things for us to build right now. That's really the situation. Yes, we could hack away at this, but there's like other base functionality that we need to add that I'll continue to research this, and I'll figure out in the next week or so whether this is something we should go after. But right now, I don't think it is. I think we can get away without it. We're going to do that. Okay. All right. That's a win. That's a win. We just said no to a feature. We're not going to build that. That's a good night. Claude helped us figure that out. Did a bunch of good research. Figured something out about Google Maps API that I just assumed it did, but apparently it's a long-standing issue that it doesn't do. So upon further contemplation, we're not going to do that. I think we can work around it. So we'll sort through that and come back tomorrow. Tomorrow, I know the stream tonight is Can Claude one-shot a feature, and we worked our way towards getting there, but we didn't. But we got there by deciding we weren't going to do it. Well, I'm fine with that. Once again, there's nothing better than saying no, we're not going to do that. And no doesn't always mean like not ever. No just means not now. So we're going to be good product managers, good product leaders, and focus on the next most important things. So things that we're going to tackle, I'll be working on stories and write-ups so that we can one shot. We need to add reviews. We need to add pictures. We need to add amenities on our location. So those, then after that, we got to start being able to filter various things like that. So looking forward to that. Should be good. And thanks for swinging in tonight. Next time, say hi. If you drop in the live stream, do me a favor. Just put anything in the chat. Like, dude, you're freaking crazy. This makes no sense. Fine with me. Cool. Just say hi. I'd appreciate it. All right. Until then, see you later. Enjoy your vibe coding or whatever you're doing. All right. Take care, everybody.